Sanibona, ngaphambi singene kwivideo namuhla, ngithi angithathe lethuba ngibonge i-support nothando enikhombise lona lingaphezu kokucabanga kwethu. Siyacela niqhubeke nisi-support njalo ngokubuka amavidiyo ethu, ungakhohlwa ukukhomenta, ushare, ulike. Siyafisa ukuzwa umbono wakho. Sicela ke singene kwivideo namuhla.
Speaker is the Honorable Sauls. Order, honorable members.
Greetings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Moinke Ahuniki. In his internationally acclaimed work, The 5 Basic Laws of Human Stupidity, the economic historian Carlo Cipolla asserts, open quote, a stupid person is someone who causes harm to another person or group while they themselves do not benefit from it and may even suffer losses. Close quote, attempting to cause a potential legislative backlog in order to be perceived as the blue cape wearing hero, whilst knowing the harm it may cause to South Africans with no benefit to themselves, is not heroic, it is myopic. Our committee consists of PA, ANC, EFF, MKP, IFP, and DA. Together as one strong team, we've been the most effective in enforcing Section 55(2) of the Constitution, holding the executive accountable. Make no mistake, it is not the effort of one single alternate member, as the current deceptive narrative wants you to believe. Honorable House Chair, the department is allocated 450.5 billion in total. That is shared among 6 programs, of which we want to zoom into 2. Program 1 contributes to 2 MTDP outcomes. 1, which is social cohesion and nation building, with 65% of public procurement set aside for Black-owned businesses. We want to reiterate that the department must take serious the recommendation in the report under Section 8 that racial targets should be included. We will hold you accountable for colored African, Indian, and white African inclusion in all opportunities. Program 3, university education, 407.3 billion of the department's expenditure over the next 3 years shall be largely spent on higher education institutions. We cannot be spending a combined 90.5% of the budget just for institutions to ignore our authority and tell us about academic autonomy, that institutions like CUT use us as a smokescreen to appoint foreign nationals, overqualifying academics like Professor Mpekwa, who is now being ignored by them and the department. We see you. Marginalizing highly skilled professionals like Keenan Jacobs just because he's a colored South African. We see you. Institutions like UNISA, who promotes foreign nationals over academics like Dr. Jonas Tinane, that almost committed suicide and is now fired because he wrote to us. We see you. The principal of Meteo TVET College, who pays legal fees from these subsidies via a foreign national CFO to his sister, who is hired as the lawyer of the college with a member of council also getting a cut. We see you, and we're coming for you. Honorable Minister, we support this budget with the commitment to continue to hold you accountable without fear or favor. This is bigger than us.
Honorable Sauls, will you just take your seat, please? Why do you want to be recognized, honorable member?
Chair, I would love to find out whether the honorable member would be prepared to take a
Are
question.
you prepared to take a question, honorable member? Order.
No, Honorable Chair.
The honorable member is not prepared to take a question. Thank you. Please continue.
Honorable Minister, we support this budget with the commitment to continue to hold you accountable without fear or favor. This is bigger than you. It's bigger than us. Take accountability where you have erred and correct it for the sake of all South Africans. Proverbs chapter number 12, verse 1 says, whoever, minister, listen to the Bible, minister, whoever loves correction is wise. Whoever hates it is stupid. Despite the popular belief and the popular view, Honorable Minister, I know you are not stupid. Salute.
The next speaker is the Honorable Kobe.
Honorable House Chair, There is a crisis in higher education. Let us begin with access. Each year, over 337,000 learners achieve a bachelor's pass, yet there are only 202 university spaces available. This is a slam door in the face of achievement. And for those who do eventually make it through the door, they often find themselves with nowhere to sleep. The student housing backlog stands at over 500,000 beds. At the start of each academic year, we see students sleeping in hallways, on floors, and on the streets. Then there is NSFAS, a bureaucracy of despair. If it's not corrupt, politically connected, contractors fleecing students and lining their own pockets, it's the fact that this system itself is broken. Honorable House Chair, each year, tens of thousands of missing middle students are excluded, not because they failed, but because there is no funding available to them. And NSFAS's response? Radio silence. Its 2023-2024 annual report is 9 months overdue. On paper, this institution barely exists. In practice, it fails students without consequences. And what of the SETAs making headlines? Action SA has consistently raised the alarm that these bodies are black holes consuming over 20 billion annually, with no transparency, no measurable outcomes, and certainly no public confidence. Walk out into the streets and ask any South Africans what SETAs actually do, and you will be met with silence. Chairperson, it is also interesting and worth noting that the DA has only in the past week miraculously discovered its outrage and chosen to vote against this budget. I will remind them that just a year ago, on the 16th of July, they ascended this very podium and supported this budget despite these long-standing issues. As Action SA, we do not pick and choose moments of principle. Since entering this House in 2024, we have been clear. We will not support this department's budget, not because this is a budget for higher education, but because this budget reflects continued chaos. At the helm of this disaster is a minister who embodies indifference. She concealed the names of so-called independent SETA selection panel, then got caught. But this behavior seems to be common practice from the Honorable Minister. She buried our questions about departmental travel under 800 pages of bureaucratic obfuscation, concealing, among other things, an 11.2 million travel spree.
Honorable Member, will you
Yes.
just take your seat? Honorable Member, why do you want to be recognized?
House Chairperson, I'm writing to ask if Honorable Gobe is prepared to take a question.
Honorable Member, are you prepared to take a question?
Certainly not. I'm busy. As Action SA, we propose real reforms. Overhaul NSFAS leadership to restore trust, transparency, and efficiency, including scrapping of exploitative fintech payment platforms. We ask you to support the missing middle by raising the NSFAS income cap to 500,000 and to offer low interest loans with repayments deferred until 2 years of employment capped at 10% of the income. Convert hijacked buildings in our CBDs into housing, student housing, and scrap broken SETAs and channel their budgets into an innovative opportunity fund. There is none of that boldness in this budget, none of this vision under this ministry, and we will therefore again this year be voting no. And just to address the Honorable Lizier, who came and attempted to blackmail us into voting yes, I would like to make it clear to you that Action SA's vote against this budget is a vote for students who are sleeping in libraries and public toilets, and for the youth who are losing their hope, and for the future of a functional and fair world-class education system. As it stands today, the budget under Minister Nkabani does not reflect this. In fact, it maintains a status quo of exclusion, poor governance, and academic decline. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker is the Honorable Deputy Minister of Higher Education, the Honorable Gondwe.
Chairperson, this budget vote is being considered in the wake of Youth Month, a poignant moment in our national calendar that does more than just commemorate the courage of past generations of young people. It also reminds us of our present and pressing obligation to ensure that the young people of this generation are given every available opportunity to thrive and prosper. At the very core of this vision is a post-school education and training system that must not only educate, but also empower. Chairperson, more than 30 years into our constitutional democracy, poverty and unemployment remain persistent intergenerational realities. It is these very cycles of poverty and unemployment that we are determined to break as a sector. The socio-economic challenges beleaguering our country, more especially the burden of youth unemployment, underpin the three priorities of the GNU, which are to drive inclusive growth and job creation, to reduce poverty and the high cost of living, and to build a capable, ethical, and developmental state. Since assuming office in July 2024, we've ensured that the work that we do and our interventions respond directly to these priorities of the GNU. Chairperson, we inherited a sector seriously marred by dysfunction, from a failing NSFAS to SETAs embroiled in allegations of corruption and waste. At the start of this academic year, we witnessed the manifestation of these systemic failures when students were left without funding, without accommodation, and without answers. But we've not responded from behind a desk, Chairperson. Over the past year, I have conducted executive oversight across all 9 provinces, with a particular focus on TVETs and community colleges. These visits were not ceremonial in nature or in vain.
Honorable Deputy
There were
Minister.
opportunities to listen, to observe.
Honorable Deputy Minister, can you take a seat, please? Honorable Lonzi, why are you rising?
Oh, not a long one. Thank you, Chair. We'd like to find out if the DA, Deputy Minister of Higher Education, is going to support her own budget or reject it.
Honorable Lonzi, Honorable Lonzi, Honorable Lonzi, you should have asked the Deputy Minister if she's willing to take a question. And then if she says yes, you would continue with your question. Can you proceed, Honorable Deputy Minister?
These visits, Chairperson, were not ceremonial in nature. They were opportunities to learn, to observe, and to act. The voices and challenges of students, lecturers, and institutional leaders have directly shaped the work and interventions I discuss here today. In a time of constrained budgets and limited resources, we've turned to the private sector for strategic partnerships. In the past year, we've partnered with Old Mutual to expand industry and career exposure for students in rural institutions. We are presently at the tail end of agreements with ShopRite, Microsoft, and Takealot, designed to bridge the gap between the world of work and higher education. During this time, I also engaged both the FP&M SETA and the Energy and Water SETA in an effort to ensure that their service level agreements with employers guarantee that students trained through learnerships are permanently placed and absorbed into the economy. On the topic of infrastructure, Chairperson, we welcome Cabinet's allocation of over 1.2 billion over the next 2 years to expand student accommodation. But beyond budgets, Chairperson, we need innovation and thinking that is literally out of the box. We're therefore grateful to the KZN Department of Public Works for its commitment to hand over new state buildings for student accommodation. We're also grateful to Harmony Gold in the Free State for making buildings available for student accommodation. Chairperson, institutions like NSFAS must perform and function, and this is a non-negotiable. As such, the new board of NSFAS must prioritize efficiency and accountability. To support students in the sector, we've proudly launched a help desk in August 2024. Since its establishment, the help desk has processed approximately 25,000 queries, the majority of which are related to NSFAS. The help desk has further maintained an impressive 89% resolution rate. This is not just a statistics, Chairperson. It is a reflection of our commitment and my commitment to responsive student-centered service delivery. Gender-based violence remains a national crisis. And last year's CGE report on sexual harassment and GVB in our higher education institutions were a stark reminder of this fact. In response, we launched the Safer Campuses, Safer Spaces outreach awareness campaign in collaboration with the CGE, Higher Health, NPA, SAPS, DSD, and NSFAS to promote and create safer learning environments for all our students, particularly our female students. We are also cracking down on bogus or illegal colleges, Chairpersons. Through partnerships with SAPS, Labour, Home Affairs, and municipalities such as Johannesburg, eThekwini, and soon Buffalo City, we are running awareness campaigns to ensure that students enroll in registered and accredited private institutions of higher education. Chairperson, allow me to close with the story of 2 young women, Matlahonono and Zintle, who I met during oversight visits to Mpumalanga and Limpopo. Both young women became pregnant while at school and subsequently had to drop out of school. Later, they both enrolled at a community college in the hopes of completing their basic education and ultimately pursuing their dreams. To the many Matlahononos and Zintles across our country, you're not invisible. I see you and I'll continue continue working for you. In closing, Chairperson, this budget must reflect more than numbers and expenditure. It must reflect our resolve and undeterred determination to build an ethical, and the emphasis here is on the word ethical, inclusive and responsive post-school education training system. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. Order, honorable members. The next speaker is Honorable Tring. Order, honorable members.
Thank you, Honorable House Chairperson. The 2025-26 budget for higher education and training stands at some 150.2 billion rand, reflecting a 4.8% nominal increase. This growth masks persistent structural challenges in the post-school education and training system. The ACDP notes the department's priority to increase enrollments across universities, TVET colleges, and community education and training colleges. However, barriers such as funding delays and infrastructure backlogs persist. The ACDP calls for increased interventions to remove the stubborn stigma surrounding TVET colleges, perceived as second-tier options, despite their potential to drive economic inclusion. It cannot be denied that NSFAS governance lapses and delayed disbursements have eroded student and public confidence. The appointment of the new board, however, has failed to decrease operational inefficiencies at NSFAS. A newspaper article in February this year noted that funding delays and institutional barriers plague South African universities at the start of every academic year. Now, while the rollout of the comprehensive student funding model targeting the missing middle was allocated some 3.8 billion rand in 2024, it could only fund just under half of the estimated 68,446 students from this category. Many of the students feel excluded, and some who have qualified for the loan scheme allege that they have not been paid for the previous year. The ACDP agrees with the call for a system to monitor and enforce repayment of loans, because without a robust repayment system, the model risks becoming unsustainable. House Chair, the allegations against the Minister of misleading Parliament, of political patronage in the appointment of ANC-connected individuals to the SETAs must be fully tested within the ambits of the law and parliamentary rules. The ACDP states that the heads of all departments must be held to the highest ethical and moral standard. Anything short of this is a disservice to the poor, the marginalized, and in this case, the struggling students of South Africa. While the budget reflects intent, delivery remains uneven. The ACDP, as kingdom builders, calls for governance reform, data integrity, and a cultural shift in this department that values vocational pathways as engines of growth. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Tring. The next speaker is Honorable Ghana. Nyambos.
Nakenza Msamastool. Honorable members, fellow South Africans. This afternoon, I want to rise for a grade 12 learner in Limpopo, in the Eastern Cape, and in El Dorado Park. The learner who dreams of becoming a doctor, a teacher, an engineer, or a plumber, but is anxious. Anxious not because of ability, but because they don't know if they'll find space at the university or a TVET college next year. I rise for the young woman who passed matric last year with flying colors, but is now sitting at home, her dreams on hold, because she was turned away due to lack of space. I rise for the student who did find space, but now finds themselves caught in the chaos, delays, and the cruelty of a broken NSFAS system. This budget vote has attracted attention, but not for the right reasons, but for the spectacles that it can provide. I refuse to take part in that spectacle. I choose to focus on the substance. As Rise Mzansi, we reaffirm our commitment to building a safe, prosperous, equal, and united South Africa in one generation. But that South Africa is impossible without access to higher education. Education, and especially higher education, is not a luxury. It is a path out of poverty. It is the foundation of a prosperous nation. The department's 142 billion budget is substantial, but not enough, because our crisis isn't just funding. It's space, it's access, it's a system that is failing the poor. And nowhere is that failure more glaring than in NSFAS. And I have to say, honorable members, NSFAS changed my life. I'm a product of it. Many in this house are. But what I see today is heartbreaking. Hyenas and tenderpreneurs circling what should be a lifeline for our youth. The 95 billion for NSFAS has to go to students and not middlemen. Those that have stolen from NSFAS must be prosecuted. We cannot continue to play political football with the futures of our youth. We need to clean up NSFAS, get it working. Our future depends on it. And we dare not fail. Minister, get NSFAS to work.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Honorable Maimane.
Bagaetsho dumelang. Honorable members, you cannot delink the ambition of freedom to the ambition of higher education. What is factually true is that we focused on the intrinsic nature of education, but we've never linked it to our economic outputs. It becomes important then when we derive a plan for what South Africa needs to look like in the future, we become clear about what type of graduates we want to produce. And to this regard, Minister, I want to focus on a few things. The first one is the notion of empowerment. The harsh reality of it is that this department progressively is overseeing the number of Black students declining who are going to higher education. Instead, Indians and Asians are increasing that number. It tells you that our empowerment story has been dealing from higher education. The second is the issue of capacity. The university that Honorable Gigaba is graduating from, our university. Chairperson, protect me, please. What's become common cause is that university expected, it had applications of over 360,000, but could only fill 10,500 slots. It's clear that infrastructure built in higher education is poor. The fact of the matter, Minister, is that we are talking about a shortage potentially of about 500,000 beds in this country. So frankly, if we're going to see the doors of learning open, as is the ambition, we clearly need to fund the capacity thereof. I need to raise the question of how we deal with efficiency. It's now common cause the fact that NSFAS is not an efficient institution of managing how many students we want to get in to higher education. And so, Minister, either we reform NSFAS or actually shut out the middleman. Yes, historically, universities used to allocate slots. And sure, it didn't work. But the truth is, when students were able to walk into an office, speak to someone, they were able to get answers. Today, when students are trying to talk to anyone at NSFAS, they get no responses, and they constantly are coming to complain. The last issue is the issue of leadership. You and I can sit here today and debate whether this is the right minister or not the right minister. The issue of whether the minister misled Parliament or not needs to be brought before a parliamentary committee and an investigation must be sought so we can get to the bottom of this. It's not a violation of my feelings or anyone's feelings. It's about ultimately constitutional obligation that must be felt. And so on behalf of Build One South Africa, I rise to say we will support this budget. We expect reform, and ultimately we need to make sure that South Africa is a different place from a higher education point of view. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Maimani. The next speaker is Honorable van der Walt.
Honourable Chairperson and members, under the leadership of the Deputy Minister, Mimi Gondwe, the department co-hosted the Skills and Jobs Investment Summit in November 2024 with excellent outcomes, proof that there are indeed dedicated public servants working to strengthen the past school education system. Got you. Minister, your mandate is clear to build a capable, skilled and well-educated citizenry through an effective post-school education and training system. This department is meant to drive economic growth, social development and global competitiveness. Whilst
Honorable members, the noise from my right is very high. I'm struggling to even hear Honorable Deputy Minister, I'm making a ruling about what you are doing now. I'm saying it's very noisy this side. I'm struggling to even hear what she is saying. Can you please lower down your voices? Can you proceed, Honorable van der Walt?
Whilst your department is in ICU, youth unemployment is in a crisis. On Tuesday, you referenced NSFAS head office in the Halyard building, a contract that has still not been terminated. Let me remind South Africans, especially our students, of what this luxury lease entails. 2.5 million rand per month for 5 premium floors with ocean views, 140 parking bays initially charged 1,750 rand per month each, and nearly 9.5 million rand, excluding VAT, earmarked for improvements to the fancy lease premises. And while NSFAS executives enjoy ocean views, our students suffer. What we need is on-campus presence, not boardroom luxury. Before moving into Halyard, did your department not rent space at the Rockefeller Hotel building? Wonder what that have cost. And that while students were sleeping in bathrooms, libraries, and our city streets because you failed to do your job. In April, 212,000 TVET college students had their allowances delayed due to a system challenge. We now know it was linked to oversized batch files, an absolute unacceptable excuse in 2025. 1.3 billion rand in dodgy direct payments deals were awarded to unqualified IT companies, 4 of them, that were neither financial service providers nor had any experience handling student funds. The former NSFAS administrator was paid 5.5 million rand for 10 months of work, and your written response to me, you confirmed that there was no requirement for a handover report in his contract. I don't think that could have been possible. You often speak of supporting students with disabilities, yet Ms. Botha, a student from Malmesbury with a disability, has been waiting 2 years for her certificate. She has secured a job offer but cannot begin work without proof of her qualification. And I personally raised this with the DG and the CEO of NSFAS. No action. How can we claim to support disabled students yet fail them when it matters? In 2019-23, your department spent 79 million rand on venue hire. From January to November 24 alone, 38 million. Your entity spent additional 6.4 million rand 2019-23 and another 3.9 million in the first 10 months of 2024. It's unacceptable that students can't get certificates, allowances are delayed, and infrastructure is collapsing. You've been in the office now for a year, but nothing has turned around, and no strategy to link TVET graduates to employment except patronage in ordinary times with ordinary ministers, this budget, despite its shortcomings and despite the myriad challenges that the department faces, this budget would have been supported. But this is not ordinary times, and you're not just an ordinary minister, and you cannot be trusted with 142 billion rand because of the lack of honesty and with integrity. Youth unemployment keeps on rising. How can we, in good conscience, entrust tens of
Honourable
billions
Member,
of
your
rand
time is
destined
up.
for students to someone with such questionable...
Honourable Member,
Thank you.
your
Chair.
time is up. Honourable Skosana, why is your hand up?
Yeah, Chair, I'm rising on Rule 85. Yeah, the honourable member says the minister lacks integrity. I think the honourable member is casting aspersion on the minister.
You should have raised it when she was still.
I raised it while she was still speaking, Chair, but you did not see me.
I did not see you, unfortunately. Can we proceed? The Honourable, the Deputy Minister.
Thank you, House Chairperson. Our community education and training institutions are the soul, in our view, of inclusive education in South Africa. They are the bridge between which learning and livelihood, between survival and opportunity, especially for those left behind by the formal education and training system, and that this budget vote must take its rightful place at the center of our transformation agenda. Over the past year, we have made measurable progress in the CET sector. Completion rate at our community education and training centers improved by 15%, supported by curriculum review, better learner support, and stronger community outreach. For 2025-26, we aim to increase CET enrollments by 10%, focusing on rural and township communities where the hunger for knowledge meets the need for economic empowerment. We will roll out e-learning platforms across all CET centers to bridge the digital divide, and we will also pilot blended learning models in partnership with universities, TVET colleges, and we are finalizing plans with provincial governments to repurpose our 200 unused schools and community buildings into vibrant, modern CET learning spaces, because education cannot be the preserve of urban centers alone. But Chairperson, CET is not only about access, it is also about relevance, and that is why we are retooling our programs to align with community needs, agro-processing, early childhood development, construction skills, and also digital literacy. We're also working with the Department of Small Business Development to ensure that we expose all the products that students from CET colleges are creating to the market. A broader post-school system is also on the move. And I got a sense that some of the members may not have a sense of what interventions and how this particular system has changed over the last 31 years. As we speak, Chairperson, university graduation rates have increased by 8%. TVET job placements have grown by 22% through new industry partnership. And our CETAs are innovating boldly, training young people in artificial intelligence, green energy, and community safety. And I think it would be remiss if we conclude this budget vote debate speech without clarifying, I think, two most important issues. Firstly, for some members, particularly the honorable member from the Action SA, Honorable Kobe, who read the morning newspapers to prepare for this budget and listen to everything else that is being said in the news about the portfolio committee and the budget on higher education, and to come and regurgitate those here as if they are facts is actually unfortunate. And some of the members who said some of the things about the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, as we speak today, 820,000 students are being paid through the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. The issue of the intermediary payments have been taken to court by those payment providers, and that whatever the outcomes of the court, the NYDA, the NSFAS will be obliged to respond to those. The reality is, yes, there may have been challenges in our National Student Financial Aid Scheme, but some of those challenges are being overcome, and that this narrative that is clinging to some of the challenges that the NSFAS had in the past and try to repeat them today as if those are a matter of fact. In fact, if some of the things that the honorable members are saying today about what's happening with the NSFAS, with the students in our colleges and in our universities, if those were true, I do not think that any of our institutions will be operating. And I think finally, there was a suggestion here that our DG and our minister and everybody else, in fact, in particular, I think that our DG is being charged with corruption, with graft, and that the minister is ignored. Again, this is not MK Party where when you wake up accused of witchcraft tonight, the following day you get expelled. Accusations do not constitute conviction. You cannot come here and say people are being accused of this and that and everywhere else and not prove any of those. You want our DG or our minister to follow the route that
the minister
Bambo followed for being the
time
first
has
polity,
expired.
expelled for witchcraft. Thank you very much.
Order, honorable members. Order, honorable members. Can we have order? Honorable members. Honorable members. Minister. Honorable members, you have been given time to speak. Let's give others to participate. The NCC. Al Jama.
Honorable House Chair, Al Jama acknowledges the world-class initiatives of the Department of Higher Education under the leadership of the Director General and Minister and will support this budget. One does not reject a budget because the Minister is viewed in a negative light. What about the other two Deputy Ministers? It is an insult to the official opposition and other political parties because they are saying we are unable to hold the ministry and the minister to account. A strong opposition party is key to a strong democracy, and now we don't have one, which is the greatest threat to our democracy. Tertiary education is one of the most powerful investments the nation can make. And this speech has not been produced by artificial intelligence, which the fighters will take a century to understand and get used to. It is therefore unfortunate that funding for higher education remains a crisis in South Africa, but at the same time, we must not overlook the significant progress made so far. Higher education is the key to decent work, and President Mandela got the first award by the ILO for promoting decent work. The Minister of Higher Education is the champion we need to ensure more people have decent work in South Africa. Decent work is a lifelong job with all the perks and benefits best practice employers offer their staff, like excellent pensions, medical aid, housing, bursaries, and even to visit Rome and Mecca. As the Deputy Minister of Social Development, I would like to thank the Minister of Higher Education that has made it so easy for learner grant beneficiaries to automatically get NSFAS assistance if they accept it at the university and college. They do not even have to apply and fill in any forms. 80% of the class of 2024 were learner grant beneficiaries, and this House gave the class of 224 a standing ovation. The empty vessels of the DA in what we heard today, so well articulated by the fighters who don't understand artificial intelligence, has taken hypocrisy to the next level. So apologies, Chairman, for that. In 2024, the Minister of Education launched a National Skills Fund Disabilities Program. Thank you very much, Minister, for that, because 10,000 persons will now go through tailored training programs. Al-Jamaa supports this budget.
Thank you. The next speaker is Honorable Khachau.
House Chairperson, the ANC wants the people of this republic to believe that a fight against corruption is a fight against the future of this country. This isn't shocking because to them, corruption is their daily bread. Living in a corruption-free South Africa is a direct threat against the very core of their existence. See, unlike the other political parties who have today pledged their support to this budget under Minister Ngabane, the DA has not forgotten about our commitment to the people of this country. Our loyalty remains to nothing else but the people. South Africa can count on the DA to fight for them and to fight for justice against corruption. See, the real enemy of progress against young people here is Minister Ngabane. It is the ANC for protecting her and corruption. It is President Ramaphosa for refusing to fire her. It is the political parties that think 141 billion rands is safe in the hands of Dr. Nobuhle Ngabane. Minister, through you, House Chairperson, Minister, committing fraud and a statutory offense under Section 26 of the Powers, Privileges and Immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act 4 of 2004 is not only a spit on the graves of the forefathers of this democracy, but it is a spit on the faces of young people whom you've failed to lead. It is a spit in the face of your DHET staff that you have sacrificed at the altar of your own protection. Minister, you said that you are dedicating this budget to the memory of fallen heroes and heroines of the PSET sector. So I dare you, do the right thing in honor of these people, resign. Detox the department. When you're calm, you can listen. Detox this department of the toxicity of your poor leadership, arrogance, effective allergy to honesty, and commitment to no one else but yourself. You don't need to wait for President Ramaphosa to fire you if you mean it, that you are a servant of the people. The people of South Africa say they do not want you to lead the Department of Higher Education anymore. Serve them, be honest, and resign.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker is Honorable Ngubane.
Honorable Chair, really, sometimes it saddens me. It looks like from our side, it's now a culture that you sometimes own the damages that you always do. It saddens me that the minister, you come here and you say you dedicate this your speech to Sisonke Mbolekwa, a 24-year-old pursuing a Bachelor of Education degree who passed away. Let's explain why the student passed away. The student passed away because of protesting for dilapidating, deplorable student accommodation. And it's your system in NSFAS, but you come here and you say you dedicate the speech to him. It's the same sequence that it looked like you guys are used to. Andres Tatane was protesting for bad service delivery, was short, and you come here, you said, this speech I dedicate to you. Minister, I will appreciate on your closing, if you can tell us that you've went and see the families of Sisonke Mbolegwa. You visited the family because they are claiming they're going to sue the higher education for payment. We need to do something. Sisonke Mbolegwa died because of negligence of NSFAS, the negligence of the university communication with NSFAS. No one knows, no one is communicating to students that who's paid, who's not paid. Fix the system and don't come and dedicate the speech to the people that you caused the death to. It's the ANC, it's a government that did this killing of the student. The hands are not clean to the department. So we need to do something about it.
Ngubane, can you please take a seat? Honorable Skosana.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chair. I'm raising on Rule 85. Honorable Ngubane is casting aspersion on the minister. He says the minister caused the death of people. I think he should submit a substantive motion to that. Thanks, Chair.
I did not hear him to be saying that, but let me check and I'll come back to you.
Skosana, I'll repeat. Indirectly, the department, you must listen when I speak. The department, under the minister and its negligence, caused the death of the student. So there are a lot of things that you spoke that are on strategic planning, priority planning one. The where you say drive inclusive growth and job creation. There's no inclusive growth in this government. There's no economy, and there's nothing. What you need to know, I will invite you, Chairperson, every December, Jacob Zuma in Nkandla celebrates students who have graduated with degree. I've met a Chairperson there. I've met pilots there, Chairperson. You must come. I'll invite. I've met pilot. I've met chartered accountants. I've met medical doctors. I've met engineers in electricity and IT and construction, graduated because of being funded in higher education by Jacob Zuma. A simple thing done by a president who never went to school has produced so many educated kids. That's how passionate Jacob Zuma is about education. So as MK Party, we cannot support a budget that is a mockery to the poor of this country. Recently, you increased the fuel levy. It's going to affect our students as well.
Thank you, Honorable Ngubane. Honorable Ngubane, stay on the podium. Honorable Ngubane, can you come back to the podium? There was a point of order that suggested that Honorable Ngubane mentioned the minister. He actually said it's the government and the ANC. So he is not out of order. You can leave the podium, Honorable Ngubane. Honorable Khabo, can you go back to your seat? The next speaker will be Honorable Khabo.
Thank you very much, House Chair. Let me start by clarifying that contrary to a popular view driven by prefects of the ruling class, there is no crisis in DHET. We've got a capable leadership that will respond to every challenge that is confronting DHET. Honorable House Chair, Honorable Speaker, Minister and Deputy Ministers, members of this August House, distinguished guests and fellow South Africans engaging in this crucial debate through broadcast and digital platforms, receive my revolutionary greetings. Let me start by acknowledging Kabelo Seboko, Leboham Midupi, Tsepang Sibande. These are young innovators highlighting a shining example of homegrown innovation. These young people are designing and building a cutting-edge computers right here on the soils of South Africa, Deputy Minister. Liema, the computer that I'm using currently, is a South African product, a tangible proof that indeed the ICT can be done in terms of manufacturing in South Africa. House Chairperson, it is indeed a privilege to rise on behalf of the ANC and as a proud voice of the marginalized and vulnerable South African youth in championing the call for advancing socio-economic transformation through the liberating tool of education. Today, we rise firmly and unflinchingly to support Vote 17, the budget vote of higher education and training. This is not just a financial instrument, but this is a revolutionary tool that we can use to respond to the triple challenges that are confronting and haunting majority of young people in this country. It is our firm belief that we are not here just to participate, but to lead as the ANC has always done in an ongoing struggle for a just, inclusive, and economically empowered South Africa. Frantz Fanon has reminded us, I quote, each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission, fulfill it or betray it in conclusion. I mean, in close quotation. Today, as we stand as the generation in the ANC, we reaffirm our commitment to that mission of ensuring that education and skills development remain the national priorities and levers of economic freedom and social change. Through transformative instruments such as Sector Education and Training and National Skills Fund, we're injecting some life to the Master Skills Plan, building structured pathways to quality training, sustainable employment, and entrepreneurial opportunities. The numbers are not lying, the numbers are telling us a very good story. And what is this good story? In 2024-2025 financial year, over 24.4 billion was allocated through skills levies to the NSF and SETAs, rising to 26 billion in the 25-26 financial year. These are not just targets in a budget. These are a strategic investment in economic liberation and a direct route to the realization of the national democratic society. Importantly, under Program 5, the department is ensuring that all 21 SETAs develop credible and responsive skills plans that can be met annually. This consistency is crucial if we are to build a demand-led skills development system that accurately reflects the realities of our labor market industrial growth path. Honorable Chairperson, this budget responds to the Freedom Charter's clarion call to open the doors of learning and culture. Basically, this budget reaffirms that no child of the working class and the poor must be denied access to education just simply because they were born in the peripheries, in the deep rural areas of Giyani, in the deep rural areas of Taung, in the dusty streets from Bamberstad and Christiana. Honorable Msizan, if you are listening. Central to our transformation agenda, it is the repositioning of the TVET as an institution of choice, not as the last resort. We are not merely reforming curriculum, we are revolutionizing it as a way of aligning our TVET program with the industry needs, strengthening work-based learning and prioritizing artisan as a way of making sure that we restore the dignity of vocational education. We are clear that the artisans are a backbone of progress of this economy. Without them, infrastructure will crumble, services will stall, and development will halt. So the ANC recognizes this and continues to prioritize investment in TVET and skills development as a foundational pillars of inclusive industrialization. We also commend the department for a strategic direction it has taken in expanding access to skills development by investing in new CET colleges and an establishment of the Northwest Mining Campus in the Rustenburg and the establishment of Tshwane University of Technology Giyani Campus, but not forgetting most importantly the Dr. Ruth Sogomutsimboti TVET College that remains the only TVET, the only district in this country without a TVET college. However, as a movement founded on the principles of a representative and accountable government, we must not only expose or confront weaknesses that threatens our developmental agenda, but we must decisively deal with them, Honorable Minister. We remain concerned about the ongoing delays in the infrastructure or in the implementation of infrastructure projects, which are often caused by non-performing contractors, lack of monitoring and evaluation, and poor project management by the department. These delays are not just an abstract, but they hamper direct intervention that government seeks to bring to the lives of our people. Honorable Chair, we believe that the intervention that the department must bring must not only to deal with contractors as a way of blacklisting them, but the department must equally decisively deal with officials who are colluding with contractors as a way of milking the budget allocated for skills development in South Africa. The Auditor General's finding, Honorable Minister, adds further weight to these concerns. While we welcome the department's efforts to implement audit action plans and findings, we agree that enough attention must be paid in making sure that we address these underlying issues that has been raised by the Auditor General. We also emphasize the critical need for information management system integration across the department, SITAs, TVETs, NSFAS, and universities and other entities of the department. The current fragmentation creates room for efficiencies and appetite for corruption, double dipping, and fraud. We urge urgent progress on developing a unified digital platform to track learner funding and across all the training system. Without any fear of contradiction, we stand here to reaffirm our support for Budget Vote 17. And most importantly, it is important for us to reaffirm our support for the Obil TVET College for reaffirming their position in the PSL. But as we move towards conclusion, to the MK members would adhere to your invitation, provided that you'll still be members in good standing of the Umkhonto weSizwe Party. The Democratic Alliance, we are forever warning you. It is important for you to know that it is not necessary for you to overestimate your importance in the GNU. If you want to leave the GNU, we can do that. You must never threaten the president of this country. In fact, for your information, on your way out of the door, you'll meet other members who are entering the GNU. To the EFF, it does not make sense for you to try and sound smarter here. You must never try and sing harder for your dinner table in the GNU. Everything that you have addressed or raised as a concern, the minister has addressed them. And we want to tell you that the EFF, if you would want to instruct the minister what to do, you must go and contest elections and win them. You must not want to lead this country through a back door. And with that being said, we unapologetically support the leadership of Minister Nkabane and Adia. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. The next speaker and the last speaker will be the Honorable the Minister of Higher Education.
No, thank you so much, House Chairperson. I'm going to start with indicating before the House and the people of South Africa that NSFAS is actually coming up with some reforms that are trying to respond to issues of student accommodation, regionalization, and student funding. So they are in the right track. We believe that they are going to deliver as expected by the people of South Africa. The second part that I want to speak on is that the DA is misleading Parliament and the House here on issue of a lease termination, because they know that we have been appealing this court ruling for 2 times, and then the Court of the Western Cape keeps on ruling against the department and the people of South Africa on 4 fintech companies, as well as on the termination of the 2.5 million rents per month in that rental office. We do not want that. We want to cut ties. We are committed in ensuring that we explore each and every legal route to make sure that we get rid of these people. They come here and lie, but they are supporting those people because those people are. The third issue that I want to indicate is around the 27,000 students that are alleged to be going to be defunded by by NSFAS. What we have, House Chairperson and members, is that we have a shortage of or shortfall of 11 billion rands. But to date, we've managed to secure 11 billion rand. And now we're busy engaging the National Treasury to come and close that gap. We do not want to leave any student in South Africa left behind. No one is going to be defunded. I want to assure you, people of South Africa. And the last part that I want to indicate is that I'm not going to dignify direct attacks to me. I'm going to focus on the task at hand of serving the people of South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Members, you are reminded that 2 debates are scheduled simultaneously at 4:30 today. The International Relations and Cooperation Budget vote debate will be held here, while the Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities will take place in Committee Room M4. That concludes the debate and the business of the mini plenary session. The mini plenary will now rise.